Hey guys, it has been a minute and I am super grateful that you guys are tuning in. I had some life stuff happen over these last few months, but and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about on my podcast. But I have a game plan, and which is funny because this whole episode is about perfectionism and like being loosey-goosey and not having a game plan. But I have a plan. I'm going to put out a new episode every month this year, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about. And so now narrowed it down to vulnerability and perfectionism, because that is something that I've been working on over these last few months. And it is something that I recently talked about with my team, and kind of just realized that there's a lot of us out there that deal with perfectionism and vulnerability. So I figured it was a good topic to dive into with you. So I want you to think about how your perfectionism mindset is holding you back. How many times have you spent hours or years working on something in your life, but then never sharing it with the world because you feel like it's not good enough for whatever reason? How has that mindset held you back from a journey you wanted to start on, or possibly already started? Maybe you won't start because you don't have enough time, or because you're not putting yourself first, because your mindset is telling you if you could just balance it all with work, the kids, life, etc., then you could put yourself first. When it all lines up, when it's all perfect, then you can start. Or maybe you have already started. Maybe you finally had the courage to get started on something, but stopped because it didn't look like someone else's journey in this thing called life. Maybe you felt like you were cruising along and making progress, but then so-and-so on social media did more reps on their workout, or your friend's kid had a Pinterest-worthy lunch, except their dirty kitchen part of that was kept out of the picture. So you stop your own journey, whatever that is, because you feel like it's not up to those standards. But why are you measuring your journey with what other people are doing? That is a recipe for disaster. And I can promise you that your journey is not any less than just because it looks different. Your perfectionism mindset is holding you back. It's putting an abrupt stop to your growth because you are refusing to take action. This mindset is paralyzing you, whether you realize that or not. So instead of saying, I'm going to take this one step towards my goals, we're saying, well, I could try this, or maybe this, or maybe that. Actually, none of this seems good enough, so I'm just not going to do anything at all. Then you throw that stop sign right back up in your life. We can be our own worst critic, the one that picks apart everything that we do, the one that holds us back from our biggest goals. When you start to have the mindset of all or nothing, tell yourself, I showed up. That is enough. I do not have to do anything extra to prove that I am worthy, and perfect is not real. When I start to feel overwhelmed, I know it's because my perfectionism mindset is kicking in and telling me to do more. It doesn't matter of what, just more. But I know that all I need to do is flip that script in my head and tell myself that I don't need to do anything extra, that what I've done for the day is good enough. The cleanliness of my house, good enough. What I've done with my kids today is good enough. All of it, no matter what it is good enough. Forcing myself to slow down over these last few months has been such a game changer for me when my mind tells me to do more. It's helped me recognize when this pops up in my life, and it has become easier to stop those thoughts before they go all over the place and turn into a do more catastrophe. Another thing that has been helping me and might help you is not knowing the details in life, which is something that was very difficult for me in the beginning, and it is still something that I have to work on daily. Knowing the details might not seem like a big deal for you. You might be the loosey-goosey type, but for me, once I sat down and really dug into that, I realized that knowing the details was a form of armor for myself. If I knew the details, then I couldn't be blindsided, which meant that I could prepare for whatever battle was coming. So now, and realistically, many times throughout the day, I tell myself that I don't need to plan any future situations or conversations with anyone. I don't need to know the details. And I'm grateful for being able to shift my mindset to this, even though it's been a bit nerve-wracking, because it's also been so freeing. Embracing the unknown, which I know as a perfectionist can be terrifying, because then we have these thoughts of, what if something goes wrong? What if something is out of place? What if it's not all lined up? What if the world ends? But let's flip that script. What if something goes so incredibly well? What if it's better than anything you've ever experienced or could have ever imagined? The unknown is where the magic happens, and it surprises me daily. Let yourself be open to all of these wonderful possibilities. Let life surprise you for once. Maybe your perfectionism mindset stems from childhood. Maybe you had to always get an A in all of your classes, right? Maybe when you were growing up, things in your home, they had to always be clean and perfect. Nothing could be out of place. Maybe you had to always be number one in sports. You could never lose. Maybe you were rewarded with love when you accomplished these things. So then, as you became an adult, that was your mindset. Perfection. Perfect equaled worthy of love. So when you have a learning experience or quote unquote failure, it's detrimental. Instead of seeing it as an opportunity for growth, you connect it to your worth. Instead of seeing it as an experience, you see yourself as you are the failure. Not that this experience was the failure and it's helping you grow. You connect it to you. Because in childhood, that's how you earn love. That's how you were shown your worth, by winning. But pump the freaking brakes, friend, because you are worthy no matter what. Your accomplishments don't give you your worth. Your parents and your partner don't give you your worth. Your house, your car, your bank account, or whatever other external thing you want to use as an example does not give you or determine your worth. Those things are just extras in your life. You are worthy of everything that you want because you're alive. With or without those things, you are so valuable to this world. But we let fear override us. We have this mindset of, this isn't good enough. Maybe you hit a new level in your job that you've been working towards, but as soon as you get there, you say, nope, not good enough. Maybe you cleaned your house, but it's dirty again tomorrow, so you say, nope, not good enough. You tell yourself it needs to be better. I can be better. I should be better. But why? Why are you chasing the next bigger, better thing while neglecting this beautiful space that you're currently in? This space that you've always wanted and that you've worked so hard towards, but now you're no longer grateful for it. Now it has to be better, whatever that means. But why? What is this stemming from? The next level at your job, the next time that you have a spotless house for 24 hours, the next materialistic thing that you get, etc., won't make you happier if you aren't already happy right where you are. I can promise you that any next thing that you get won't fill that void. You'll always be chasing something. Perfectionism isn't attainable and it holds us back from opening up and being vulnerable. Maybe you're ready to share your story, whatever it is, but you feel like you don't have the right words or the right picture to add to it on social media. None of that matters. Just sit down tonight and write it all out. I used to be so afraid to use my voice because I was afraid of the reactions that I would possibly get. Would people think that I was oversharing? Would it make people uncomfortable because of what I'm going to talk about? I even had thoughts of maybe I won't make a podcast. I don't know anything about running a podcast. Who would even listen? But the thing is, now, those things don't bother me because I know that someone out there needs to hear what I have to say. And if what I say bothers you, then the message is not for you. And that's okay. If you're struggling right now, then my best advice to you is to just take that first step. Maybe you want to start a new fitness routine. Maybe you want to place a new boundary. Maybe you want to share your story. Maybe you want to do anything that's going to help you grow. I don't know what you've been wanting to do, but have been holding yourself back from. But whatever that is, just start. Maybe it'll be messy in the beginning. Maybe you'll have to tweak it as you grow, but it never has to be perfect. The box of perfection that you put yourself in, punch a hole in it, rip it apart, stand on top of it, and say, this is good enough. And I don't mean good enough as in settling, as in saying, I know that I'm capable of more, but no thanks. I'm not going to work towards anything else. I'm cool. No, I'm saying that when you show up, give it your all and do the best that you can, then you tell yourself and you tell the world that this is good enough, instead of saying, why didn't I go further? What's wrong with you? Are you not capable of more? You're weak. Oof, I don't know about you, but those are things that my inner mean girl used to say to me. These are words that could stem from so many situations. Maybe they're from childhood. Maybe they're from a past toxic relationship. Maybe they're from an old boss. It could be from anyone or anything, but those words moved into your mind a long time ago, made themselves very comfortable, and decided that they never want to leave. These words would make me push further and further until I was in burnout mode, and then it started to make me question my worth. Unlearning perfectionism is a daily thing that we have to work on. Matter of fact, I had a situation last week where my perfectionism mindset brought itself to life again. You might be able to hear it through this podcast episode, but I am a tad bit sick, and this is something that I'm working on, but I won't admit to others when I'm not feeling well. And when I eventually do, it's because I can't carry the weight of it anymore. So, as in, when I'm on the floor dying or dead, I will wave my white flag saying, okay, I surrender. Help me, please. Because when I don't feel well, it brings up feelings of clinginess, which then brings up feelings of needing someone, which then makes me feel weak, and it causes me to shut people out. Now, I know that these things are not true. But I just need to clarify. We just talked about the things that my inner mean girl would say to me. So I know these things aren't true. I know it's all wrong. I know the mindset of these people can't possibly see me as needing help, right? Vulnerability. I know that that's all wrong, but I need you guys to remember this inner mean girl, or the person that you have, your inner mean negative self-talk, maybe it says the same things, but when I don't feel well, my mind goes to, why can't you juggle it all? Your kids, your business, your home, etc. You must be weak because you can't handle it all, and that's how others will see you too if you reach out. Damn. But we are not our thoughts and emotions. They're just words and feelings. So then, because I've done so much inner work, I am able to identify this negative self-talk much faster than before, and I can shut it down. If you've been following my podcast from the beginning, then you've heard me talk about my fight or flight mode. My life situations have made me independent, you could say, but that's a double-edged sword, because do you know why me not feeling well last week triggered my perfectionism mindset? Let me tell you. And let me also add in that there's always a root cause for something, and meditation helps tremendously with figuring out what your root cause is. Okay. So I'm very used to saying I'm fine, no matter what's going on in my life. For the longest time, I pushed myself harder, faster, better. I would never give myself an option B. I would never give myself an out. Sink or swim mindset, kill or be killed, survive, figure it out. I can say that this mindset, as unhealthy as it was, has made me a very driven individual. I won't back down from things because I know how capable I am, but it also holds me back from being vulnerable sometimes. This mindset won't allow me to admit when I need someone to take care of me, like when I don't feel well, because then I have to depend on someone other than myself and show that I can't juggle it all on my own. I have to show that I need help sometimes. Hello, root cause, and hello, vulnerability. Like I said, double-edged sword. But one of my favorite things that I've been embracing lately on my journey is the courage to be vulnerable and unlearning all of those toxic survival skills, to put the walls down and to let others in. Being vulnerable is something that I will work on daily. Healing is not linear. Some days you'll be wonderful and some days you'll struggle. I used to question why I had to go through the things that I went through, why I had to experience so much pain. But now that I've made it through those storms, I know 100% that my pain and healing is to be used as a tool to help others do the same thing. I'll never doubt that. It's why I'll continue to show up and share my storms right alongside my sunshine. I won't hide any side of myself because I know that there's at least one person that needs to hear what I have to say to take the action that they need to take in their life. But they're too afraid because they think that they're alone. I will be the voice for that one person in hopes that one day down the road, they'll be the voice for someone else. I know if you're in a storm right now, whether that's because of perfectionism or anything else, then it's hard to see any good in that. But I hope that when you do feel ready, that you share your story to let others know that they aren't alone and that they have someone in their corner. As we finish this episode up, can you think of a time perfectionism may have held you back from doing something in your life? Can you change that script in your head to help you take that first step towards your growth and your healing? And I told y'all that I would start adding an affirmation to the end of my episodes. So this is what I want you to write down and say out loud daily. My self-worth is not determined by others. Remember, there is no external person or thing that determines your worth. They do not hold that power. You do, and you always will. And always remember that you are worthy because you have a heartbeat. You don't have to do anything extra in life. No extra achievements, no fancy car, fancy house, like get married. None of that. None of it. None of it determines your worth. You are worthy of everything that you want in your life because you are alive. And that is enough. So feel free to share this episode on your social media. Tag me in it on Instagram at barbells_and_brownies so that we can empower people all over the world. And I cannot wait to have you guys tune in again for the next episode. Love you guys.